So let's talk about a little bit about what you guys do at LC Solutions. I know you and I have worked together for a while now. Of course, you know Rick. So, but the audience may or may not know you. And so talk a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure. So we are a CPA and accounting firm. We do a lot of work with cannabis businesses from the initial applications. There's a requirement on the medical side for the applicants to go through an attestation process. So we do quite a bit of work there. And then also helping businesses once they're up and running with their day-to-day accounting work, maintaining their bookkeeping, tax planning and strategizing. I heard you guys mention some of the tax complications for the industry earlier. So we spend a lot of time doing that. We're in the process right now of combining with another firm up in Saginaw who's also active in the industry. So definitely good things to come. We're excited to keep growing and to keep expanding and serving the industry.
Now, I know what you want to talk about is there. Let me get my glasses back on. If I put them on, then you can see my lights, you know. So you wanted to talk about, the annual review procedures for MMFLA licenses. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, it's an important topic. So this is included in Section 701 of the Facilities Act licensing. So it just applies to medical businesses. But it's a process of a financial statement review and a set of procedures that licensees are required to undergo. An independent CPA will come in and perform procedures. All of the procedures are defined by the MRA. Covers things from testing revenue transactions, testing payments, disbursements to owners, making sure that tax payments were submitted correctly. So it's very all-encompassing. Trying to get a big picture look, but then also look at the granular detail of the financial components and the activity that the licensees are having. For this year, most of the reports are due by October 31st. So it's very important to talk about now because we are approaching that deadline. And it's quite a process to go through. So depending on the size of the business and what level of revenue they're doing, each of the procedures that are looking at revenue or expense type transactions could require looking at up to 60 transactions during that given period. So it involves, tracing them through from metric to invoices and other source documents, and then through to, the bank statements or some type of cash management system. So it does take some time to go through all the procedures. There's actually 9 that are required. Now, depending on the type of entity, whether it's a cultivator or provisioning center, processor, there's different procedures that may or may not apply. Most businesses we're finding that at least 7 of the 9 procedures apply. We haven't quite found anybody yet where all 9 apply to one type of business. Generally because one procedure is related to licensing agreements, and then one procedure is related to the excise tax that the medical provisioning centers were required to remit in late 2018 through early 2019. So for some entities, 8 of the 9 procedures will apply. This is something that is required in the rule set. So the MRA did a very good job, and I'm just looking at the side. I've got their schedule up. MRA did a good job of defining what the procedures are, and they issued an advisory bulletin on June 3rd that had the details of what was required and then the time frame for when these reports needed to be submitted. Anyone licensed from July 2018 through December of 2019 is required to have a report submission. Some licensees, depending on when they were licensed, may actually require 2 report submissions to catch up for that 2018 through the 2020 period to be able to look at those complete years. And then your exact reporting period depends on when your initial licensure was in place. So it's different if you were licensed in, let's say, October of 2018 versus March of 2019. You would have a different reporting period.
And that
So,
reporting period you mentioned ends December of 2019, which is when the legalization program kicked in. So I expect next year you'll have to do a similar procedure with all the businesses that are licensed under the legalized program. Is there a vast difference between the paperwork required for the medical businesses or the legalized businesses?
right now, there's not. So last summer, this is summer of 2019, the MRA had started a work group with the MICPA and some of the members. So we had gone through and discussed with the MRA what types of information were important to them. So this is making sure that sales are correct. Payments and expenses are happening as they should. There's no off the books transactions that are going places they shouldn't be. Taxes are submitted, things like that. So then we first designed a set of procedures that applied for last year. There was only a handful of licensees that had to undergo this process last year, though. So this year the procedures were revamped, and now we have the 9 that they've defined. Where I could see it expanding to the adult use side is paying more attention to the sales tax in the excise tax submissions, paying attention to how those are calculated. So there's, just from a, outside of the scope of this, some of the issues we've been running into with clients is miscalculations for the excise tax. So either their point of sale system doesn't have it set up correctly, or some other type of reconciliation difference. So I think that's something they'll probably pay pretty close attention to, for the adult use businesses.
It's probably something that will be evolving as the industry matures too. In year 1, we learned something. In year 2, we learned something. In year 3, we learned something. Do you expect to have an ongoing relationship with the Marijuana Regulatory Agency in an advisory capacity in order to help them tweak those reports that are necessary in order to make sure that compliance isn't overly burdensome but still functions properly?
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of work with the MICPA, and they're kind of our liaison between the CPA group and then the MRA. So we do plan to stay active in that. This year they published a workbook that defines all of the procedures and really narrowed what the CPA can do. So it's, you don't have multiple CPAs kind of doing it their own way. It's structured and, kind of A, B, C, D. This is what you do, and this is the box you stay in, for lack of better words. So we do want to get through this reporting period and then be able to provide feedback up through our CPA group, and then they'll take that. We'll either meet collectively with the MRA or as representatives, transfer that information and feedback over to the department.
And those of people that are looking for help not only with their state-based reporting but also with federal reporting can still lean on LC Solutions for that task as well, right?
Absolutely. We do a lot of work with federal tax reporting. 280E is an issue on the federal level, and then it's a half issue at the state level where it applies to medical businesses but not adult use businesses. So we do a lot of work that interacts both the state and the federal reporting.
Fantastic. And you're merging with a Saginaw firm? Congratulations. That sounds like a step up in the world.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited about it. Haven't officially made it a big announcement yet. Still kind of in the process, but our last advertisement with MICIA's magazine had a kind of a soft announcement. So the firm is Grapp Lerash. They are also a Cannabis, or now it's Sensi Connects, founding member. We've been working together closely on for the industry for the last couple years. So it was just a natural fit for us to combine together.
Well, you're not going to leave Otter Lake, though, right? I mean, come on, you're the pride of the community there.
Well, Well, Otter Lake, that's, I do see some individual tax clients there, but, this business, LC Solutions, started out of my home. So, to where we're at now, almost 4 years, since we had started this, come a long way to, having the home office versus the official offices.
Okay, will you be changing your name or what?
We are going to become Grapp Lerash. We'll retain the LC Solutions Michigan name for branding purposes, but the way it works for a CPA firm is the firm itself is also licensed through LARA, just a different department from where marijuana businesses are licensed through. So we do have to keep that in mind as we made the decisions for what name to combine under.